Guys, Chris with Cross CNC here, coming at you with another tutorial on how I use my template setups to create a monogram. I came up with this Love monogram thing. It's a pretty good seller for me. I do it in 18 inches by with the heart shape there. It works out to like 21 inches, so it's not perfectly round, obviously. But what I wanted to show you guys was how I actually add all my information to my templates and what they look like whenever I do it. So this one, this is our monogram. It's our Love R monogram. The text is duly noted. It's centered. It's stenciled. It's a height of 3/4 of an inch. It has a little over a 1/2 inch spacing on the bottom and a little bit of almost a 1/2 inch spacing on the top. So this would be the top, this would be the bottom spacing, and the font size itself should be 3/4 of an inch. So that's all the information that I put on that whenever I do these. So I actually have to create a W monogram. So I'm going to close out of this. I'm going to open up our Love monogram template. These are all of my Vine letters. I have not set this up to necessarily open up a W stencil or a W template, just because I'm pretty quick at these, and I get paid pretty good for them. So I could take the 2 hours to do all of them, but why right now? Some of my other monograms I did that with. We know all this information now, so we can actually delete this. We can play around with our W here. So we select the outer profile, hold Control and left click and select the two openings, hit M for move. Now we're just going to move this around till we get something we like. Okay. Okay, I like that. That doesn't look bad. We could do something like that. It's not touching right here. Okay, that's going to be a pretty strong piece. It's touching here, it's touching here, it's touching here, here, and here, and down here. Okay, so we've got enough there. Let's go ahead and merge this. So we're going to hit X and select the parts that we want to delete. I'm deleting everything. So you could see how this overlapped. I'm deleting everything so that it makes this one piece here. Same here. You can see where the heart overlaps it. I have the scroll work coming around. And I'll zoom in on this one so you can see. So if I wanted that heart to have shape, I would do away with more of this. This one, it's just a single overlap, so I can do that. Once you hit X, you left click on the pieces you want to trim, and then you right click with it selected, you hit J for join, and it joins them back. So now we've joined that piece, so the W and the heart are joined together. Now this is what I was talking about, a full overlap. The scroll work from the W wraps down into the circle from the perimeter and then back out. So we can either take that away, and that away, and have the circular area. And let's see what that looks like. go up here, full screen, and see how that looks a little full with that scroll work coming around. So we're gonna undo that, and we're gonna zoom in on it, and now we'll X. Now we're going to do the circle with the scroll work kind of protruding out of it. You can see that little flatter design on the scroll work, showing the scroll work going through the circle. I think that looks a little bit better to me, just visually. I think we're going to keep that one. Okay, we're going to come over here. Once again, scroll work overlaps. I want this outer profile to show more, so I'm going to delete all of the scroll work and then link that. And now we're good to go. Okay, so now our W is part of the design. We're going to go to text. It's duly noted. The names are Jacob, ampersand, Faith, EST, 10/19/2019. And we need to make sure that I already have this stenciled, but if you go into advanced stencil letters, I do mine below the holes, the bar width, the slant angle, stuff of that nature. You could play around with that. I typically don't. Let's bump this up to 20% and see what we got. Okay, that opens it up a little bit more. Okay. All right. I selected that. There's my name. Control V. Well, actually, let me show you. I draw a border box around that. To select it, I hit Control V for fit to path, and I click on that opening, and it fits the words in the opening for me. Select that, Control V, fit to path, uniform, delete this, zoom in, brush is B, and I want my brush diameter to be 0.15 because that works really well for me. And I just want to make sure that these openings are about that. I can do away with that. I typically don't. That's just a thing that I do. Not right, wrong, or indifferent. Like I said, it's just something I do. Some people may not go to that length, and that's fine. Everybody has their own way of doing it. I'm not saying their way is wrong. I'm not saying it's right. I just know how I like to do it. Let's take that ampersand around. Let's take that ampersand around. And this is something, these letters, I've done a burnout test on these, and I know that they'll still work, but I like to make sure everything's somewhat symmetrical. And we'll go through. And all I'm doing is brush tool, set my diameter of the brush to 0.15, and then go through all my openings, left click, and drag while holding the left mouse button down. Okay, I'm going to move that over a little. Okay. There. And like I said, this is me taking time doing this. Not something you have to do. I just kind of do it. And to be honest, it's one of those things I don't even know why sometimes, because I'm the only one that's going to know it. But it's one of those things. My OCD kicks in. As I said, most people won't even notice this, but I do. I think we're gonna leave that. I know that it'll actually work. It won't do a burnout on it, just because I've done this so many times and I haven't touched these. But I'm just kind of showing you guys. So there we go. There's the finished piece. And yeah, I know that it's going to burn well because all my openings are a little over an 1/8 inch wide. And if I click on N, select automatically convert holes to inside path. Now I can actually go in there and see everything that's there. I can undo that. I can go to settings. These are all of my settings. I haven't brought my cut file configurations over from my cutting computer. I built a new system for design work, and I haven't translated over the profiles for like 1/4 inch and 16 gauge and 18 gauge and everything that would give me my kerf, my actual kerf measurements, and the settings that I use for that. Eventually I will, but that's neither here nor there. Everything's going to cut good, and we'll go from there. So if you have any questions, please let me know.